Hey guys, cheers for tuning into my video today. This one's a little different to what I typically do. So I don't normally cover videos that when a company has an industry-wide sort of impact, but I'd rather talk about when it comes to like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, when it's a feature intertwined with the system of the game itself. So with World of Warcraft, we actually have a quite a interesting development. Now, if we look here on MMO Champion or Blizzard's own forums, this is where this post is found. It is the cross-faction instances. So I'm going to say it like this. I think many of us was expecting this to come into the game at some point. The question was when. We can see it's relatively soon in the half patch after 9.2, so 9.2.5. That's an easy one to say. So what can we say about this? So this post at the moment say that the Horde and Alliance can do cooperative play, I should say, in dungeons, rated PvP, and raids if they're organized raids. Like you're not doing it from sort of LFG or looking for raid, nothing like that. It doesn't operate at the random matching level. So they do state it's focused on organized instant gameplay, like we just said. Now they do say that's the most, this is where the center of the most compelling arguments will be made, and I have to completely agree. So just to touch on that, World of Warcraft is one of the few multiplayer games with factions, a Horde versus Alliance. So it's one of the few games that had this. All modern MMOs don't have multiple races, only have the one unified faction against the great evil, as it were. So with Warcraft, what it does actually suffer from, and actually for many years, is the fact that most servers, if not all of them, are completely lopsided to one faction or another. Now we do have the, what do we call it? The connected realms, which we honestly thought when Blizzard implemented that, it was going to resolve the faction imbalance. Didn't happen. So this is an aim to basically rectify that as much as possible. Now, I think it will definitely, if you're from a low population faction side on that server, this will most definitely help you out in the biggest way possible. But you do have to reach out to someone on the other side. So they say here that essentially to communicate in order to be invited into these is, directly invite if you have a battle tag or a real ID or battle. It's you knew someone that basically moved factions originally. Pre-made group through the group finder, so I'm glad they've implemented the internal group finder to do this, although I'm sure many players will be going to sort of external grouping to find groups to do content with. So at least it's internal, that's great. Guilds at the moment, when this is implemented at least, will remain single faction. I can understand the technicalities to that. You're still going to have a rather social, lonely experience if you're on the, a low populated faction. But at the very least, you can do content. Now, with Blizzard, when they do typically do content like you can do, like the PvP and the raids, they're good. It's the systems behind the other content and that leads into those, not so great at the moment. So this is kind of game changing in a big way, because this essentially breaks down the borders of Warcraft as we understand it. So Blizzard are willing to sort of break the sort of spirit of the game, as it were, in order to facilitate this. So the next, what I want to sort of go into is, why is Blizzard doing this? Why now? Why wasn't this done years ago when people requested this, and the issues of server imbalance has been there since I played the game at the start of Wrath of the Lich King? And if I'm honest, as I continued to play World of Warcraft, that faction imbalance got worse, not better. It feels like they could have done this years ago, but they never really thought they needed to do it. Perhaps they thought they were already too successful, that they didn't need to implement this. Which, the thing with Blizzard, and a lot of people sort of really annoyed with, including myself, is that we know they have a lot of good systems that they could implement into the game, but they choose not to. So it feels like some of these implementations they're doing recently is essentially to basically try to look good. Try to get into the favor of the players. Like, okay, we saved this for we saved this for a rainy day. Let's add this in. Let's hope that, I don't know, the players will forgive us. Not even forgive us, just ignore some of the crap we've done so far. Blizzard, we're not going to let you off that easy. There's still so much that needs to be done to the game that looks like expansion level changes. We'll see how this system evolves into the next expansion. It seemed like this is like the start of what they are doing. Maybe we'll get cross-faction guilds. Now, I'm a very avid horde player. When I go into battlegrounds in random, I want to fight versus. I want to go against alliance players. I like PvPing versus alliance players. That's just my jam. Killing as many gnomes as I can in game. That's what I want to do. I'm not sorry, alliance or gnomes. But it'd be nice for Blizzard to essentially get any good system changes that are directly related to player experience and gameplay into the game as soon as possible. Don't have ideas that you can add to the game for rainy days. Please do not do that. The game needs more. So great back in the day. There was so much variety to do. There was a lot of depth to various degrees into them. And it was just nice to do when you logged into the game day after day, week after week. It was just nice to do. I think this is a good addition to the game, despite being an avid horde player. The player experience is what matters the most. And if part of this is going to help with player retention, especially that those that come new to the game and just go to whatever faction or server, whatever server they go to, and the faction that they are in just inherently ended up being low population. Are they going to continue playing if they feel essentially unable to do that content because there's no one to do it with? They're going to leave the game more than likely, or perhaps what Blizzard was counting on, paying for the server or faction change services. They're very expensive, like way more than any of their competition, and this is a big positive and takeaway from this. I'm hoping this encourages better retention to add to a bigger pool of players that are keen and dedicated into raiding, rated PvP, mythic dungeons, all of that organized content. And once they implement this, there's no going back. You can't rip the system out. It's going to be so ingrained into the game. It's just too important. Anyway guys, so cheers for, if you made it this far, cheers for watching this video and my opinions about this particular integration of this feature and just thought process. If you liked the video, give it a like. Please subscribe if you can, it helps me out and get this channel going. And please put some comments below about any discussions and opinions you have, even if they might be very much against what Blizzard is doing, against what I said, or just want to discuss with me, because I'm very happy to discuss with people about topics like this. But till next video, see you guys.